HJC, we started, would have been when I was 17. That was my second year. My teammate, was wearing the helmet and introduced me to y'all. And HJC came to me, and they were, a family-owned company getting into the racing sector, and I knew how much they were basically going to put into it over the long term. I had a great relationship with HJC, and one of the biggest things y'all did that just made it comfortable for me was sending, Steve to all the races. The owner's son was flying to all these European races just to work on, my helmet with me. We had a great friendship, and that was an important thing that the company did, and that pretty much sealed, the rest of our years together. This was my 2002 AC-10 helmet I rode for Attack Suzuki. I remember being 17, 18 years old, being young and leading the championship, getting it under my belt. A lot of transition and progression, learning a lot in those years. The most important things back then I remember is, the hot days, super hot in the summer, trying to get the thing to ventilate better, just working on aerodynamics. Going that fast, 180, 190 miles an hour, you get a lot of buffer and the helmet moves around. A lot plays into that, and then, the next helmet came out and had its improvement. So that was, that's probably what we were looking for out of this one. This was always a, pretty cool picture for me. That was the first championship we ever won, 2003. I was 18, and that was the AC-10. Yeah, so this is my 2004 AC-11 helmet, factory Yoshimura Suzuki. Like I said, we made a pretty good gain with airflow in this helmet. I do remember that. And that was probably one of the biggest things at that point that I was looking for. I know they were all DOT and Snell, approved, which is the highest rating. So that was what was, most important for me.
And why didn't you win a championship?
I was getting my bearings right after that big crash. It was tough. A lot of people don't realize that, 03, we were going to go straight into superbikes and probably be pretty strong, but then we had that big wreck, and then, I had to reset and pretty much ride super stock and super sport. And, it wasn't an easy year, but like I said, it was kind of a rebound year from what we went through. We kind of went into the year and we were a little bit of the underdog. Matt's never been beat on the same bike. And, we were still young at the time too, being on a superbike, so there was a lot of pressure that everything just started kind of falling in place. I was learning how to manage situations and being comfortable doing it. And then first title, got it. In 2008, this was the replica we ran then, and it was my first replica. Really liked it. Learning more about development, even myself, and giving y'all feedback and things like this. This was, the product from that. The whole year, we never had a big dogfight race. I'd win the race or he'd win the race. And then at Laguna, we got the same start, and we were turn one together for the whole way. I'll just always remember that, I was chasing him, and with about 10, 12 laps to go, he got a bit of a gap on me, about a second, and I almost gave in. And everybody, all the racers, they know the feeling if you kind of, okay, I'm going to settle for second. And then I just thought, I was like, man, we've had this many races. We're sitting on 300-ish points, me and him. I'm not finishing second. I'm going to crash or I'm going to win. That's all there's, going to happen. And luckily, I started putting some good laps together and caught him, and then made a pass, kind of at the hardest part of the track in the corkscrew, and was able to get away from him, win the race. And for me, we've been able to do some good things in my career, but probably as a feeling, that was probably the top feeling, just winning that race, winning the championship, sending him packing. This was my 2009 helmet. Loved this helmet a lot. Ventilation, was another step better on this helmet. And I do remember the field of vision got, one step bigger as well. This was, one of the helmets that right at first, we had a little bit of an issue with, the visor, and I wanted a little bit tighter locking device. It was one of the changes that, I requested, and we needed it done, pretty much then and there. And 6 days later for the next race, they showed up with it already done. Graphic was awesome. It's got the skeleton, pretty much Longhorn, bull from Texas. It showed up on a lot of, my helmets through the years. It was a really cool helmet. You know, it was, I liked it a lot. We did introduce, you know, another helmet throughout that year, but this was the helmet that we won the title in and won the majority of the races in. Being Texas, being American, having the Texas flag on it, you know, a lot of people thought it was an American brand, you know, which it's kind of a good feeling for me that they think that, but it was, you know, no, it was a Korean brand, and you know, like I said, love the company. They treated me, you know, like family, and but yeah, that was always funny, you know, hearing that some people thought it was actually, you know, an American brand when it's not. Yeah, this is Assen 2009. This was one of the most exciting, you know, finishes I think we've ever done. You know, it's funny because this was a track that I grew up, you know, watching on TV for years. It's the oldest track, you know, for motorcycle racing. To be able to do it, you know, with Haga, passing him on the last lap right there, you know, leading into this chicane with, it's a huge crowd in the grandstands. It was, you know, pretty much a dream come true, and we also had to win the race. We had to win these things with the way the season was going. That was the mindset. I was super excited right there. 2010, you know, we went into MotoGP and they came out with a new model, the RPHA 10. Jordi Performance did the design. It was kind of a childhood dream to get him to paint a helmet for me. A real favorite helmet of mine, and had some big updates too on it. Had the big, you know, ram air on the top of the helmet, the big exhaust kind of coming out the back, and I just remember when it came to airflow, we had a big breakthrough with this helmet. You know, the rookie year was pretty tough. We had a couple little crashes, couple injuries to the ankle that I had to fight the entire year. We rode for Tech 3, great Yamaha satellite team, and was able to get my, you know, first podium. That happened at Silverstone. Was able to pass Nicky, you know, on the last lap and get on a GP podium after, you know, I was 8 years old watching him as a kid. That meant a lot, you know, so and it still does, you know, especially nowadays, but yeah, it's really cool.
So Ben, you want to tell us a little bit about your pole position in Indianapolis, your home Grand Prix, as a rookie?
Yep. Yeah. No, that was a big deal. You know, I was always rode, you know, Indy pretty well. Had got the podium and went there and was in front of the home crowd, and you know, satellite bike, first pole position, and was able to finish second in the race. We got to wear, you know, a special set of leathers, had the bike painted with the special star, and then obviously, you know, had this helmet on, and it was a big deal. You know, to be in front of the home crowd, it's hard to describe what that does, but it gives you more. It gives you that little bit, you know, one more gear. So it just, like I said, first year in GP, I was proud of that one for sure. This was my 2011 helmet that we wore at Laguna Seca and at Assen and got the win. Those were the leathers, and then, you know, got the helmet up on the top display. 2011, you know, Assen GP, you know, we had a really good race. Stoner was behind us the entire race, and it just, everything was comfortable that weekend. It was my first MotoGP win at the track that I kind of wanted to do it. It was HJC's first, you know, MotoGP win ever. This was a limited edition helmet. It was a great design. We were, you know, the first people to have a, you know, a monster logo on our replica. It's got the Texas Terror star. We did the 50th anniversary, and it was definitely a limited helmet. Yeah, it was nice to be able to win in that situation, you know, with those colors. And when people talk about it and bring it up, it's nice, you know, it pops for sure. In 2012, we had the, you know, the RPHA 10 again. We changed the star just a little bit on top. And this one was really clean, you know, pretty basic helmet, you know, but in the same time with how we put it together, it looks really good. So this was the 2013 RPHA 10. Truthfully, it was a really tough year. Coming back, I got injured at the end of 2012. Was nowhere near, you know, 100% going into the season. So it was, you know, wore this helmet a few times. Only, you know, completed 2 races that year, and then we ended up retiring. So it was a tough year, but you know, it's obviously a great looking helmet. Had some good luck too. It can't always go, you know, like everybody wants it, and we had one pretty bad season out of, you know, all the other ones. So not upset about it, but you know, wish it could have ended a little bit different. And unfortunately, we just didn't get to put it on the podium, but this was the last one. Yeah, so I'm probably just gonna keep this helmet then. This is Jorge's 2014, RPHA 10. Talking about the growth of HJC and all the stuff that we did together. My time had to come to an end, obviously, and Jorge was a teammate of mine in 2011, 2012. I think he liked the helmet a lot, from when he was checking it out, seeing it. And, when I retired, I told him, I said, hey, look at these guys, they want you, and as a company, they're, if you need something fixed, they'll do it, they'll expedite it, do whatever you need, and they did. And yeah, 2014 helmet, he won the 2015, MotoGP title, and that was HJC's first MotoGP championship. And yeah, just to see this helmet, it makes me feel good to know that we helped kind of build with HJC and get eyes on the helmet and more interest in it. It's awesome. And then today there's a whole lot more people wearing it on the grid, so it's got the trajectory, and it's been great to see. I am keeping it. Damn. Man, that thing is nice. It's got a huge field of vision. Wow. One of the biggest things is the shape of the helmet. I mean, I love the shape of the helmet. You can tell it's super aerodynamic, and when you're in a full tuck, the way the shape of it, it should blend in really good with your leathers and the hump on the back and everything. So definitely some time was put into this for the overall shape, and aeroness. There's no doubt. Now we need to go to Coda. Impressions are awesome. The fit was the first thing, obviously. Put it on, super snug, wraps around, it comes down low enough. And on track, the first thing that I noticed was the ventilation. Everybody says they can always feel it, but I could literally feel, the air going over the top of my head and actually to my mouth where I can breathe a bit. So that was big. And then also the stability of the helmet, is really big, popping out from the bubble and not getting a bunch of buffering from the helmet. So those were the two things that, on the track that stuck out the most. Blown away with the first impression, for sure. It's just starting at 17 years old with HJC, with the AC10, all the stuff that we did, all the development, the races we won, the championships. It was a lot, and to see the RPHA 1 now, see what y'all are giving racers, being the only rider in GP for a little bit, it graduating to, Jorge, him winning a MotoGP world title. Now we have, 10 top level racers in MotoGP, and very soon there's, going to be 25 Red Bull rookie kids, wearing the helmets. It's nice to know that we played a small part, in that expansion, and able to give the racers a product like what y'all are doing. It's an awesome thing to see. I just, want to say, happy anniversary to everybody. A family, environment, Mr. Hong, SJ. It's, just want to say thank you. It's got a lot, from the company, helped me do a lot for my family, and we won a lot of races, a lot of championships, a world championship. Feel like I kind of helped y'all, build a little bit, into the racing world, and for me, that's a lot, So like I said, I just want to say thank you, because it's what I have now is a large part of HJC as well for my family, and it's a big deal, so it means a lot. And congratulations too with the RPHA 1. It's a culmination of a lot of years, working together. I was a part of 5 kind of generations with the helmet, and to see what it's out now, what y'all are giving the riders and what they're seeing, it's a lot of work we put into it. So it definitely makes me feel good, and hope to keep working together in the future.